I want to say that I got involved in this human safety fight, this public safety fight, back in 2011. I was not anti-nuclear. I had nothing to do with nuclear power. I didn't care about nuclear power. I was busy starting a family and a business here in North County. I met my wife here. We wound up raising a family, and it was in the early years when the kids were very young. I watched the Fukushima disaster unfolding on television from 5,000 miles away. And I was wondering what this means. And about 3 weeks later, I got the answer. The milk that we were serving our small children was radioactive here in San Diego County. And I think at that point I realized that these accidents are huge. They can span an entire Pacific basin, 5,000 miles in 3 weeks. So this nuclear waste problem on San Onofre, only 30 miles away from us here at the Belly Up, it's basically right on top of us. And so what I've learned in this fight has galvanized my sense that we need to do something about this. And what I've learned also is to just knock on doors and talk to people and explain to them what I know. And I know there are a whole host of other people doing the same thing. But what it did is it opened doors to Japan. We have friends in Japan right now watching this on live feed. We have a former Prime Minister of Japan who became a close personal friend. And he came here to protect us in 2013, and I think he had a big part in shutting down the San Onofre nuclear generating station. We also have the former chairman of the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission, who's become a close friend of all of us. And when I say all of us, all of you here tonight have an interest in this issue, and half of my family's from Hawaii. You're considered Ohana because you're extended family now. And I brought in some people from the Native American community, and there's some other Pacific Islanders now we're bringing into this discussion. All of us are confronting this waste issue, and we're confronting the contamination issue. What we need to do is pull together. I won't make this too long, but just know that this is one of the existential threats like global climate change. This is the largest environmental issue that you've never heard of before. And if you can just take the time to get informed, we'll connect you up with information. If you can share what's happening tonight with all your friends and let them know that this is real. Just before my mother died, she looked in my eyes and she said, "Son, this is not a dry run." And I get emotional when I think about this. Thank you to the Belly Up, to Chris Goldsmith, to Liz and David. Thank you to Bart at the Samuel Lawrence Foundation. Thank you to all the environmental groups that have jumped into this. Thank you to all of you tonight for willing to listen to this message and a bunch of great music. Thank you for joining my family in protecting all of us and future generations. The indigenous people talk about 7 generations ahead. That's what we're thinking about right now. How do we protect 7 generations ahead? Well, we need to take action on this right now. We need to talk to our elected officials, scan the back of your card, send a message to elected officials. This is unacceptable. The U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission has let us all down. They're not doing their job. They're letting an industry do something that's so obviously wrong that you can see it from space in a Google image when you look at that nuclear waste right on the beach. That nuclear waste is in the epicenter of the surf industry. This is where it was born, was down here in Southern California, and it's in the epicenter of that. That should alarm all of us that something's going terribly wrong. But there are a number of people, Tom English here, what a wonderful human being. He's been dealing with this issue since the 1970s. He stepped back into this fight. He's a high-level radioactive waste policy expert and an advisor to the Carter administration on this issue, the country of Sweden. And he sees that this is an absolute mistake, what's happening at San Onofre. So if you haven't heard about it, it's because Edison has very good PR to clamp down on this information. But what we're doing tonight is we're adding art to a message, to a soulful response of a community pulling together to push back on an existential threat to all of us here. And thank you, and scan those cards. Contact the Samuel Lawrence Foundation if you want information. We'll connect you up.